Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Red Valkyrie Presents. I am Shae the Red with my amazing co-host, Cyborg Valkyrie. How you doing, Cy?
Awesome.
Yeah, did you finally wake up from your nap, you lazy ass?
I'm gonna kick you, and you're not gonna like it.
And, of course, we have our incredibly good friend, Mr. Kenneth Rocafort. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Oh,
Good.
okay. This is super exciting because Groken 1 was phenomenal. Groken 2 is just as stunning as ever, and seriously, you have some amazing characters in there. So before we get to the absolute gorgeousness that is this campaign, Sai, should we do this cosplay reveal?
We should. There, you hit the other one. Good job.
Yes.
Good job.
You're such a jerk. Will you do the fucking drum roll?
I'm looking.
Oh my gosh.
You motherfucker.
Metamorphosis completed, sir.
Shae the Red.
Has now become
Awesome.
Whoa! Amazing!
Very, very quickly
Wow.
done. Unfortunately, this was very upsetting because I wanted it to actually look a lot better. But
Stella
I'm
Griffin.
just. I'm muting Shae because I don't want to hear her self-deprecating bullshit. She looks awesome.
thank you. I did
Beautiful.
get contacts specifically
Whoa!
so I could be more your character. But yeah, this
so
is
details.
I try. You
Super.
know, I try. It's hard to keep up with you. You do realize how insanely detailed she is, right? Because when I
She's
was
gorgeous.
trying, I was like, I could maybe do this, and then I see another picture of her, and I'm like, the hell is she wear? I can't do that. Like, she's got like 500 scales.
Yeah.
This is her weekend getup, where she's a little bit more relaxed and chill, a little less.
Amazing job.
Thank you.
Completely approve.
Yes, okay, I got a Rocafort approval stamp. I am good. I am happy with life. She is by far my favorite character. Just based off of the design that you did. I mean, granted, we all love your artwork. That's,
Thank you.
you know, it's Rocafort art. It's
Oh, yeah.
what is up,
Yes.
William, on Facebook? Thank you. But yeah, your art's always beautiful, but the design for her specifically, oh my gosh, she is stunning. So before we
Yeah.
scroll down to her,
For
I
one
want
reason,
to hear you.
yeah, for one reason, it's going to be in the cover for the second one.
Yes.
And
Oh, and
she
she's
have
so
a
pretty.
role, and yes, you will more about his attitude, about his background. More, yeah, you will enjoy.
I guarantee I will. Look at that. So like when I first saw her, I just saw like the face, and I was like, oh, I could totally cosplay that. And then I scrolled down and was like, it's a good thing that my camera won't pan down, because that's
Hey Shae,
those
help me build that
leggings.
cosplay. I'll wear it. I'll wear it in New York.
I would need a year to build that cosplay. Are you kidding me?
Just keep everything you're wearing right now.
This isn't even remotely close enough. There's so much that goes
Damn it.
into her.
Also,
She's
you
so
did a
gorgeous.
small sleeve in gray. That's nice. Yeah.
I tried, because I saw she was short sleeved and was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I have to make sure I get a short sleeve gray shirt. So
Where will I find red dish gloves though?
they're not dish gloves. They're welder's gloves. Damn it! Look, they're leather. These are leather gloves. Trust me,
Whatever.
they're way more expensive than Pyrex. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Wow.
Shae's laughing, but I hear a little bit of crying in there too.
Tiny bit. If you saw my cosplay, I would say budget, but it's totally not a budget. It's just cosplay uncontrolled spending.
Yes, uncontrolled spending.
The Power Ranger gloves. You know what, Danger Vanessa? You're lucky the dad's here. Otherwise, Kick City. The bottoms are sweatpants.
She's gonna slap you around with those Dish Power Ranger
Oh,
welder
terrible. Okay,
things.
Kenneth, I want to hear from you. What is kind of the story behind Groken?
Okay. There are different elements who complete the story, but at the moment we only know about Enzo, the Groken escaping from the Citadel, and at the end is knockout for the tracker Gunda. This will involve the second issue. Then when we started to that point, we don't ignore any of the character we present in the first issue. Every character have his space and never be abandoned in the comic. It's a lot of characters, and each one is appeared again, and we add more characters. It is complicated about the story because it's something about happened in that era that Groken have a position he need to take at some point. In the first paragraph of the story at the beginning, and they say something like a prelude of you can understand what's the story. It's a fantasy sci-fi, have a lot of elements of the try to don't focus in the mythology, because this is a different world. It's a different kind of fantasy.
Right.
It's a conspiracy happen, and they need to resolve.
Okay.
That's the first thing in Groken comic.
Okay.
The character have a exoskeleton. It's like a knight.
Yeah,
you
it's
can.
this guy back here, right?
Yes.
Right here. I love his design too. He's such a cool looking character, especially like the horns that you have coming like forward facing and everything is just really, it's striking because as much as you want to be like, it feels a little bit like he could be like scary or dangerous, the color palette that you chose for him is so like calm that it makes him look kind of like a gentle giant. Like he's this character that was just kind of thrust into this weird ass world, and he's like, all right, let's try to survive.
The color is not an unusual color for the character. It's like a bone white gray thing, like a really rustic, like a something different to define, but it's not exactly like a easy to see, like a pretty. It's more like a have mystery inside, and when I say inside, it's really inside have his mysteries.
Oh wow, okay.
And from the mini comics, the small ones I did in 2020.
Yeah.
You saw him when was a kid, and still with that armor in different way, but small kid, a kiddo with the armor. At one moment you going to understand who is he or what is.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. It's different to express what is the. You going to know the story in the second third issue. Well, in the second one, I'm super happy because you reveal a lot of secrets, and when you know more, you will more. It's more complicated.
Okay. So basically what you've done is you've created a blooming onion of storytelling where it's the more it opens up, the more layers there are, the more pieces to the puzzle there are.
But I know the end, and it's done. It's not like I'm going to invent things between. No, it's done. You need to follow the story, and it will be really satisfied.
Oh, I'm excited.
I guarantee
that. Eric wants to know, where is Groken's mouth?
And the chest, that thing.
right there.
Yes.
That little.
Sometimes you can see the tongue sometime going out.
That's like, gosh, that feels like something out of like Dark Souls almost.
Yeah,
But
it's weird.
he's too bright of a color palette for Dark Souls. But it's that kind of like maw open up type thing. Is like, oh
Yes.
gosh.
Well, I decided to have a bright palette, but originally that comic, I was thinking at the beginning going to really dark, also in the
Okay.
dialogue, and I say no, let me go soft, because I want to people go inside the story, and when they read, say, oh, okay, it's deep the story, but it's easy to look around the world.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with Comics Mate Dean there. He has said, I can't wait for Groken 2, but is anyone else hyped for that sketchbook? I can't wait to get it. And, you know, I'm a huge fan of your art. We've talked a lot about that, and I've gushed many times over how beautiful your artwork is. The fact that you're offering a sketchbook with the second book of Groken is just phenomenal, because I literally, there's times where like I'm thinking about doing watercolor and I'll look at either you or Chumahel to try and like get inspiration, and then usually it ends with me deciding that I'm going to eat ice cream instead, because it's just too pretty and I'm just nowhere near good enough. But the fact that it's, you know, I have a physical book that I can show my friends who maybe aren't really into art, or my mom. Oh my gosh, my mom is gonna die when she sees your artwork in this sketchbook for sure.
You've sold a few sketchbooks. I mean, a couple.
Just like, you know, one or two. No, I think that it's a really cool opportunity for.
I never did a sketchbook like a for sale.
Yeah.
I always day by day for years I did my little sketchbook, little notes of arts, and I decided to not take all illustration and put in the book. I'm going to work for that book, the illustrations, and the thing I put every day is not be there inside the book. It's completely a surprise. Only you saw 2 images. But I'm going to play with different kind of materials, maybe abstracts, concepts, so something different that the usual I do for the companies. Yes, it's only to, because I want to make time to give something out of the comics for people who know me in the mythography sketchbooks I did years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm really excited because like I've seen a lot of the in progress stuff, like when you post your works in progress of doing, you know, your washes and your watercolors and all the different characters, and just any of your artwork I just stare at and drool over, and then usually go eat ice cream because I'm just
that's funny. When I decided the amount of pages to do in the sketchbook, I did a list of, okay, how many robots, organic stuff I want to put, sex ladies, and I did okay, that's the amount of sketches I want. But I need a start. Only the 2 images, and during this year I'm going to play with materials to express whatever I have in mind at that moment.
That's so exciting. And you know, it's really funny because actually I sent you just last night, I sent you the picture that I had finished my painting.
I enjoyed the newspaper in the
yes
I say
that's what I was gonna say, because I was like, I tried something different and I was like, I really don't think it's gonna work super well. And I'm gonna be perfectly honest, Kenneth, I didn't glue them down like you're supposed to because I couldn't find my glue. Okay. So I put satin medium and then the newspaper and then satin medium over the top of it. I don't recommend doing that. It made it bubble. Okay. But I love the idea of you taking something like newspaper or something along those lines and putting that down and then doing these really beautiful watercolors and stuff that you do, or gouache or whatever over the top of that, I think would be so cool to see.
No, I like also. I think like a sepia tone is depending scale. If you use the newspaper, it's like a do the effect, and I like the use the like a wash over with a gray. Yes, like a that's nice. You can play with other colors too.
Yeah, absolutely. It I will say I had pictures of newspapers, so they were all slightly different shades, and it didn't quite it was printer paper, so it didn't absorb the wash as well. But having something that has a more consistent background tone and that can absorb that whatever wash you do on it a little bit better, I think will give you way better results than what I had. I was like,
also
it's okay.
No, but the result, the texture, like the gray, is nice. It's not only a solid color. It's like have something. Like going intrigued to go. Well, what is inside?
Well, that's the funny thing too, is because if you can look close enough to actually read them, and they're all talking. All of the newspaper headlines are talking about bombings and how many people had like died and stuff, and it was related to what happens in the first 10 pages of the Exile.
You said like the news.
Book. Yeah. So I went through and I sought out specific news titles, so it would make sense in the scheme of what the story was. And I really want to see you do mixed media the right way. then I'm going to turn around and be like, okay, all right, so I tried this and it was pretty cool, and then Kenneth did it and it was phenomenal. So now I'm going to try it again, and I'm going to get to better than the first time.
No, I like experimentation. It's like always like
it's so much fun.
Foment the imagination to move to other steps. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you know what else would be really cool to see you do on some of your more saturated works and stuff, where you have like a little bit darker, richer tones? It'd be really cool to see foiling on some of your stuff. It would, I mean, it's messy as hell, but it would be really cool to see, like, you know, looking at Groken, and you do such a good job with rendering like metal and things and showing a really good, like, brilliant shine. It would be cool to kind of on a few select pieces just like actually put a foil in there just to see how
I'm going to take note. I usually use for some touch and like a sparkling something over the color, like a watercolor, some glitter. And when the person physically have the original piece, like have some effects.
That is cool. I never thought of doing like a really fine glitter mixed in with watercolor.
Yes, it does exist in the like a paintbrush.
Okay.
The liquid inside is transparency with the little glitter. It really soft. It's not like a really impact. You need to move the piece to.
Right. Yeah. I actually have. And I've tried this. I actually I'm sure you've seen the horrible hand turkeys that I do. I had an embrace hand turkey that I did, and for all of the little hands coming off of it, I actually have a really, really, really cheap watercolor palette, but it's pearlescent watercolors. So it already kind of has that glitter mixed in, and I did all of the hands with that, and it's the same way. You can only see it if you hit it off the light. It's such a cool effect, though. That is so cool.
It is same like the gold one. The watercolor, you have the peel, it's a solid watercolor.
Yeah.
The gold is really nice when you use it. I don't remember right. Is the brand now? But I can check. I can give you a.
No, absolutely. That'd be really cool, because it's watercolor is the next thing that I'm gonna try.
Yes. Well, about the glitter, I used in the piece that I did a few weeks ago. The last unicorn. In the horn, I used a glitter.
Yeah.
In the waves, in the ocean, in the background.
Oh, okay.
A little
cool.
So highlights there, and in other part, but just.
That's so cool.
It's some details, extra things. All these about visual.
It's really cool. You see it in person, guys. I'm just gonna let you know. I mean, it's cool you don't see it in person either. It's cool you just see these and gush over it. Like I'm still so blown away because this is Cy and I have had this conversation when it comes to watercolors, and it's one of Cy's biggest gripes is that watercolors always look kind of pastel, and you always seem to find a way to draw out such a highly saturated color from them.
Right. My problem is the saturation. It's how just fucking washed out it always looks, and I'm like, well, that's very artsy fartsy, but some people just make me question the entire thing when they fucking just throw down colors, and then my brain melts.
When you start seeing this,
yeah,
and everything's like super saturated yellows.
Not only that, but watercolor was always like very sloppy in my mind. You know what I mean? Like there was no sharpness, no exactitude to anything that I was seeing. But then that, and well, just fuck me. I mean,
yeah. When we work in watercolors, you need to always work to light to dark.
Right. And build on it.
My covers for the comics is digital colors that you can play and adjust the color easily. But when using the paper, it's tricky because sometimes if it's an object you're going to draw, you do the line in pencil, and base inside you sometimes drop water first, and then you're going to the inks, the watercolor, to expand in the area you want, and then you put more, and you have the gradient of the one color to other.
Right.
Depending on how much pigment you use is the intensity of how vibrant you want, and sometimes you need to work over and over to some levels.
Right.
The layers of the color. It's fun. It's experimentation and still trying until you capture the thing you have in mind. That's the way, I think. Well, I saw super delicate, soft, and pastel watercolor that's amazing, and also the contrary, super saturated.
Yeah.
And say, is the same brand of colors or what happened? Is difficult to understand.
I don't know if that's me. Oh, sorry, my computer froze up. So I have a question. If you're doing something, let's say that you're doing something like this traditionally, okay, that has all of this detail, how big are you doing this? Like, what's the paper size? Because I've seen you work with the smallest brushes I've ever seen in my life, and you still pull out the most amazing detail, and it just baffles me.
The cover B is traditional. The tracker. Okay. With the big green guy. The tracker Gunda. And his traditional, I start using a base of watercolor only for the paper have a base, a color. Then I use the wash because I want something opaque and solid to work on, and then I use whatever different effect I want. Well, it's more wash and watercolor. And all is the big head in green. I think it's in the top of the campaign.
This one?
Yes, that one. This is watercolor and wash.
So see, I think that maybe that's it, because it's really easy to, especially when you see a lot of what you do and how you because you get gouache to really, really mimic just standard watercolor in the way that you get your blends and your values, which is I've never used gouache. I've seen other people do it, and it seems like it's a good in between acrylic and watercolor, but that it's still like watercolor, and that it's still finicky. If you put too much water down, you can mess up the whole piece really easily.
Well, don't use too much water. You want the color more pure to the original pigment. What I can say about the size, you asked me about that, is 11x17, same like a original paper standard for comics.
See, that's so crazy because you say 11 by 17 and then you look at all of this little detail over here with these little tiny knobs and everything, and all I can think of is you have to have the smallest detail brush that you are using to try and get all of that in there. And then you look and you see there's a gradient, and all those little buttons and all those little knobs and all those little pipes still have highlight and still have shadow. And in my mind, I'm like, I don't think that I could ever do that. I feel like that is such a, like, I would need a magnifying glass and a steadier hand than what I have to achieve this kind of stuff that you do. It's just, it's phenomenal. It is so amazing.
And funny thing is, I work more quickly, my speed of work, when it's traditional than when it's digital. For me,
do you think that's because you can, in digital, you can constantly go back and second guess yourself, and in physical you can't, so you just have to make peace with whatever you've done?
Yes.
Yeah.
And also the scale you zoom in digital and still working inside smaller. You need to, hey,
oh yeah, how you can like constantly zoom.
Yes.
The worst thing to ever happen to an artist was digital media, where you could just constantly zoom, because then you're like focused on something that you're making super detailed, and you go all the way back out to see your whole piece, and you go, you can't even see what I've been doing for the past 3 hours. It's like, nope, you sure can't. It's too tiny.
One thinker told me, he said, no, you need to lock the zoom and don't play with that. And saying, whatever, I want to enjoy and have all the experience to zoom and zoom out.
You know what? And that's really what it is. And I've noticed this is, and I've talked to you, I've talked to Eric Canetti, I've talked to Chuma Hill, I've talked to Isaac Bell, all these artists that I'm like, oh my gosh, your art is amazing, and I want to be like an eighth as good as you are in anything. And I would be like ecstatic. Holy hell, look at this. Look at how pretty this is. And that's one of the things that all of you say is, you have to have fun with your art. If you have fun with it, then the rest of it comes.
But what if his art just makes me cry?
Sentimental art.
No, it's like there's talent, and then I look at my sketchbook and I say, here is the lack of talent.
Well, and this is what I've learned by having incredibly talented artist friends, that I would die if I could do even a fraction of what they do. You can never compare yourself to them, and Kenneth has been doing this a fuck ton longer than I ever have, so I cannot compare me to Kenneth ever.
Oh.
Look at Danger Vanessa says, Twitter Dad, show and tell is the best show and tell. And Danger Vanessa agrees that your art is amazing. It's progressive. It's ahead of its time. People just don't know. As good as always.
It's ahead of its time.
Yeah. So this is super exciting. I'm really looking forward to continuing on this storytelling journey, because it's not only an interesting story, but it's so beautiful.
But it's not only something to put an image when you make it, the satisfaction to make, but it's what the other person understand or absorb of the image.
Yeah,
it's you don't need to be super detailed and super realistic. It's only a bridge to your world.
That is very true. Oh my gosh. I'm getting art advice from Kenneth Rocafort. I'm just, yep, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's a good Saturday. So this sketchbook is going to be absolutely amazing. I'm so stoked for it, because I'm going to stare at it and then tell myself that if I try really hard, I can do a really poor interpretation of some of your stuff. And then of course you also have where people can get the first book if they missed out, and this is a different cover, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm now just going to buy the first book again, because I want all the covers.
No, I like that the cover D. Yes, it's like a more
Uh,
impressive of him. He have
he
a
just
little
looks so
alteration of the
cool.
proportion of the armor, but I really like it. The pose of
I know, it's
imponence with a
really,
sword.
really cool. Like, look, so I always end up looking at this stuff from like a cosplay perspective. And so I look at this and I think like this would be a bitch and a half to build for a cosplay, but it would be so badass if you pulled it off well. This will be
I
after I figure out how to do other cosplays really, really, really well. This will be one that I will have to tackle at some point, and I'll have to see if I can get the chest to actually open.
open. Wow.
We'll see. We'll
Interesting.
see. Oh, so cool. So got a couple of interior pages. This green dude
Yeah, good
is
not the tracker.
intense. Oh my gosh. And I love the pages that haven't been colored yet where I get to see like it's just it's the way that you render women's faces where you make them so striking and they don't look like
Oh, she's no
poor
easy
little damsels
character.
in distress. Like she looks like a badass. She's about to kill
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah,
She's
she's
so
not an easy
cool.
one. We need to work with her.
Yeah, and just your composition. Like the choices that you make in framing and, you know, the way that your worlds are kind of set out, the shapes of the buildings, like everything is so intentional and
Yes,
it's just
it's a
such
lot
an
of angles,
experience.
directions. You move the eye, moving all the page, and also
Yes.
the shadows you is signed to move.
And you
So
definitely do an incredibly good job of moving people through a story. Like it does when you go from page to page throughout like Groken 1, you really get the almost the feeling like it's like it's almost like you've got a movie that's playing in your head and the each panel is taking you through the scenes and you just it's one of the few books that I've actually gotten lost in when I've been reading it because it feels like you teleported into a different world and everything that you read you hear like the narrator voice from some movie and it's a full on just immersion and it's so cool.
yeah, it's not an easy task when you need to a world building. It's not based in something you know, and you only need to present the character moving around the world, and that make a lot of preparation to select how you're going to tell the story. If you're
Yeah.
going to jump the reader to place, and then going to one point at the end, that's the way I select. And yes, is a place is on Discover for the reader going to the first page, and then you're going inside directly.
Absolutely.
I'm like sometimes I take the book and look like a fan, like not like a product I create, and say,
Uh-huh.
okay, let me see how I move to the second issue. I always planify all big part of the seven is in notes in layouts,
Mhm.
but sometimes I need to double check about how it's going correctly
Yeah.
again and
Yeah.
again.
You know, if you ever decide that you want to do like add another level to kind of like your crowdfunding campaigns, something that I think would be really, really cool would be seeing those pages with those notes where you're, you know,
Okay.
an original page and then this is what I've changed and this needs
Yeah.
to move quicker or whatever, because it's a really small, this is something that we talked about on writing pros. There's some people who can watch somebody draw and then know this is how I draw. right? Like I can watch how your hand moves and I can go, okay, cool. So now my hand has to move like this in order for me to replicate those same kind of lines. But when it comes to storytelling, so much of that is internal that even if I sat with you and I watched you work through storytelling, I'm getting a fraction of what's actually going on. And so when you're sitting here and you're storyboarding everything out and you're making all these panels and then you're looking at it from a fan perspective and saying, okay, this is what isn't hitting right, this is taking too long, this is a little bit confusing, I need an extra panel, and putting all of those notes down for yourself to go back later. If you kept those pages and then put it together as like a behind the scenes making of, I think that not only would a lot of people really, really enjoy that, but I think it'd be incredibly valuable for a lot of people who are
try to understand the artist, how
absolutely,
how he's edit his own things. Because I was dealing with a page of 11 panels.
Oh wow.
But the thing is a flashback. You can go to long take too much pages and panel to tell something what happened in the past. You need to be quick because the narrator is going to tell you the situation. It's only visuals, and I go with the small panels and images directly with one action in each panel, not like a 3 action in 4 panels. Because sometimes people decide, oh, I want that character moving, and in the background happen that thing, and the foreground other in the same panel 3 things, and that's how many panels going to have that page. And if you're going directly with one action per panel, you can put more panels, and because it's a flashback, you don't need to it need to be more quickly than the usual.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say, the more panels you have on a page, the quicker you're moving someone through the story. And so if you have 11 panels on one page, we're hitting beats very quickly.
Yes.
And it can work, and some people do it very well. Some people do it terribly. There's a lot of people who, it's 11 panels and all it is exposition, and that's terrible because it's just 2 people. Like at that point, what was the point of so many panels? Everyone's just
I'm going to show you later.
Yes.
Maybe in the process of finish the comic, but I'm going to show you the page.
Yeah, absolutely. Working. And I'm sure, like, I love it when people use panels creatively, and I think that that's something that you do very, very well, because you, all the way down to like the size, even this page, if you look at this page, you have these very long, skinny panels that are showing far shots, of the city and everything. And then the gutter, which normally people just kind of, the gutter's the gutter and it's just a throwaway. You've got these really cool kind of black angular columns and encasement that kind of
nothing compress you to look some areas or to move out. Yes.
Well, and it gives you an out. It's completely boxed in at the top. And so you've got that angle that's already pushing you down into that first panel. And then as you start to move through, the panels move you down. But instead of getting hung up on this guy in the lower corner right here, it's almost like you're supposed to look at him and move on, and not fully sit here and be like, oh my gosh, look at all of that is coming out of his neck. Like, it's like, no, it's moving you through and moving you into the story, which makes something that otherwise to a lot of people is very jarring, or something that, when you see something that isn't normal, we stare. It's just like when you see somebody that has a physical deformity or something like that, you stare. It's human nature. And the way that this kind of moves it through, it's almost a way of saying this isn't anything notable in this world. Like, things look very differently, but it's normal for everything to look differently, so we're moving on. And it kind of subconsciously gives you that mindset, and I love that you do that so much in your storytelling, because I feel like it's very underutilized in something
I'm
like
glad
comics.
you appreciate it.
Yes. Well, it's like, it's one of the major benefits of storytelling in comic books versus storytelling in any other medium. And it's one of the things that I think that people fumble on the most, because they think the gutter is throwaway. They think that the panels are all kind of a standard size look, and they pretty much go off of the 5 major panels that you see in like a superhero comic. And that's what they go off of. They're like, it's either these kinds of panels, these kinds, or these kinds, and that's it. And it's like, you don't understand. You literally can do anything.
This
but
is true.
Do a creative thing that helps your storytelling, and work on that, like understanding graphic design and the psychology of human nature, and all of those sorts of things play together in making these pages really flow, and making the reader have an experience that they may not even fully understand that they're having as a result of the way that you've laid things out. And you are very good at doing that, and I really love that you have continued this on in all of these pages, where you really, you have these big graphic moments,
Thank you.
and then you let it breathe, and then you have, you know, other like big moments and quick panels, and then you let the story breathe again. It creates such a satisfying read.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of work. It's not as you put the paper and drop ink over that, or a button in the computer. No, you need to understand and have a visual of what you need to go, the goal. And each page not only need to function in black and white, also when you go to the colors, need to have a flow to the next page, and the intensity of the situation you need to aggravate with more action or more impact. It's a lot of things. People say it's not only to draw a proportion of the character, it's play with lot of elements for finish the page.
And in all honesty, I think that the technical side of drawing everything absolutely perfect is less important than focusing on the emotion that you're putting into the panel, into the page, into the artwork. And so if you have a really cool dynamic shot with really awesome characters and great lighting and really good color usage, your proportions can be a little fucked and no one's going to notice.
Right. I'm looking at panel 2 and panel 4 and thinking of how gorgeous she is at the same time as thinking of how things don't have to look amazing, and yet they look amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why Kenneth is a master. It's like Kenneth is a master, because he does both. He's like, yeah, it doesn't have to look perfect, but it'll look perfect. And also have perfect lighting and coloring and pacing and action. He's like, it'll just all be perfect.
You have different way to attack the page. Go traditional with all the artists resolve how to do the page, or try to put more of you and create a new language, but need to be easy to understand to others.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we need to go over all of your tiers, so people who haven't gotten this yet, which is, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say is very few people, because, you know, what are we sitting at here, Kenneth? $130,000, almost 131.
Yeah,
a lot of people have already gotten in on this, but if you haven't, or if you are, maybe you backed and you're like, you know, maybe I'm like Danger Vanessa and I treat my Groken books very rough, and I need to get it
hard. The word was hard.
Yes, Vanessa loves hard,
well,
and that's why her books get banged the hell up. Maybe you need to buy backup copies. You have a reader copy and you have a Keep It Nice Forever copy. Let's go over the tiers so people know how they can back. And I'm sorry, Sai, real quick, you want to read your comment
First,
out?
it's not add-ons. You don't need to wait to finish your purchase to find something more. It's not add-ons.
perfect.
Oh, I was just complimenting the gorgeous lady in the book.
Yeah. Kenneth's women are probably my absolute favorite. They're so freaking pretty. All right, so you have your featured tier, which has Groken 1, 2, and the sketchbook. So that's kind of like the get it all bundle, right?
That's right. No repeat issues with different covers. This the basic. Yeah, you have one of each things.
Awesome. Danger Vanessa is correcting me. It's not that people haven't backed yet. It's that they didn't know that they were Rocafort yet.
Yeah.
And when they find out, then they're going to need this. Which every household should have this. I don't know why anyone wouldn't. So if you don't have it, you're wrong, and you should fix that. Okay, so this one, which is what I'm pretty sure I got, but I'm actually thinking, Kenneth, I'm probably going to get it again because A, I don't remember if I got 2, so I don't know if Sai got one, and B, I want to make sure that I got it, so I'll just back it a second time. Okay.
Just 8 more times.
Yeah.
We should be covered.
I have that much money
cool.
to just keep backing Kenneth. Look, Kenneth, you need to come back to the art auction on October 1st, and then everyone, you need to buy my stuff on October 1st so I can give my money to Kenneth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
Good point. We can make it. Yeah.
Yes, back it 3 times. All right, so we have Groken 2 cover A, which is this gorgeous cover. I love this cover so much, and she seriously, like, I would love to do a proper cosplay of her. It would literally take me a year. It would take me probably a month just to unpack what you did with these legs down here, the lower half.
Yes, every time I draw, I need to double check the reference and say, oh no, that back is different than the other side.
How many patches did I give her around her ankle? Let me just, I'm missing one. That's why it looks off. Yes. Let me do one more.
Always, I need to double check.
Oh, so pretty. Okay. And then we have Groken 1 and 2 for $50. So if you missed out, or if you're like me, you just want to make sure that you got the second printing new cover, because it's a new cover. Why wouldn't you have that?
Yeah.
All right, then we have also for $50 the Groken 2 and the sketchbook. So this is all of the new stuff. If you got stuff from the first campaign, this is the new stuff, correct?
Yes, this is the if you already have the first one, go directly to the second and the sketchbook. Easy. Awesome. All the perks there are easy to understand, I think.
Yeah.
I go super simple.
Oh, and then this one. So this one is all the new stuff. So this is A and B covers for the book 2.
That's correct.
I might have to get this one, Sai. I'll have to go back and look at what I already backed.
I need a sketchbook too.
I know. Oh, I might have to get this one, because then that gives me everything.
Wait, what's the difference?
That one have the C, the cover C.
Yeah, this one has cover C and the second printing of book 1.
Which one's C?
The cover, the more complicated, this one characters.
Oh, I need that one.
Yes, always I try to the cover A is more based in the character, one character at the side. The cover B is on my campaigns. Sorry for the first, and I try to continue that way. The cover B is a painting one. And the cover C is more about the story inside the issue.
Oh, I love that. That is really cool. Because normally when people have like variant covers, there's not really a whole lot of reason behind it. It's just to have different covers.
No,
and sometimes it's to get certain artists. But I love that you're like, no, the first one is the new main character. Second one's a painting, and the third one's about the entire story.
Yes.
That is awesome. Danger Vanessa says, cover C, aka the cover with 3 bonus people.
Yes.
It's the cover that has more people in it, so that's why.
Yeah.
Oh, slap! Just a horrible pun.
Thank you.
And then, of course, your Groken bundle plus sketch is all sold out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that happened immediately.
Too quick.
Yeah,
Thank you for all the backers.
I need to know when you're gonna do Groken 3 so I can start my savings account that I can get in.
You have more than a year.
Okay, I can do that.
Yes, because I'm supposed to next year in August start the fulfillment.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 year.
Yep. You know what? We're gonna talk a lot before then, like before that next one. And
Leave yourself in demand, by the way.
No, right now it's in demand.
Yeah, it is in demand. It's been in demand for a while.
I meant leave yourself in demand until like next summer.
You're probably yeah. How long are you leaving this in demand? I would assume until you're close to print.
It's first time I go into in demand.
So
last campaign it didn't.
Yeah. See, Robert, exactly. That's why when you are trying to back something from Kenneth Rocafort that is limited, make sure you're already signed in and that you already have a credit card linked. And so when it goes live, you can just bam, bam, bam. Okay, I got it. I hope.
I don't know if we're allowed to publicly pre-thank Kenneth for Tuesday.
That's Wednesday. Yeah, first minute. Yeah, it was exactly at 12. I was impressed because I was ready looking the clock, and when I touched the button, was exactly at 12 a.m. when it's off the campaign. I was like, wow. I think it's going to have a little problem in Indiegogo and did it.
I
was so perfect.
I stayed awake. Even though I had work, I stayed awake and I rapidly hit refresh, backed, and was like, oh my gosh, did I get backer 1? And I was backer like 17 or something. Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? It hasn't even been 30 seconds.
Then she yelled at me for it.
I screamed so loud. I was like, no!
I was so super surprised. Like, oh boy, what's happened here? That's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you for the
Shae's like, I'm gonna be the only one awake. There's no problem.
No, I didn't think that at all, but I thought I had at least a decent chance. And then, exactly, Robert. So was I, and I tried so hard, and it just that was.
And in the end, it doesn't even matter.
It didn't even matter.
Everybody's a good friend.
Yes. This is. Yeah, exactly. Danger Vanessa, that is so true. There was a lot of people that are Rocaforts that were very sleep deprived at work the next day. They're just like going to work like a zombie, like, what happened? You'd be like, I don't want to talk about it. I tried really hard to get backer 1 and I wasn't
backer 83. Yeah.
Like I'll have to go back and look, but I literally backed before a minute even hit and I wasn't even close to 1. Like I
was talking with Vanessa. In his
no, it was Sumo Thori. He beat us all, and we all.
Yeah, Sumo was the first backer.
We all cried.
Special. I never say what I'm going to send to the first backer, but he will receive something really special.
Congratulations, Sumo. You deserve it. I can't be mad because I do have right there. I have my little Groken guy, and he will always be here, and I love him so much. Thank you so much, Kenneth.
You're welcome.
I was so confused too when I was opening up Groken, and I was like, I don't remember this being a part of it. And then Kenneth has to message me, and he's like, hey, I see that you have something extra, and I'm like, oh shit, wait, this is extra. And then he goes into the chat and he goes, oh look, Shae's the one that got the watercolor card, and I was like, I don't know what to do with what
was
I'm holding.
A pool only in the first 100 backers?
Oh.
And I did that like the first 100 is only one, and that
was crazy. It was crazy. I had a lot of people that like Vanessa was yelling at me because I put it up on the wall immediately and it was slightly crooked.
Yeah.
She was very upset with me.
Maybe I'm going to do the same. Select one in the first 100 or first day. I don't know. And give
Oh,
something.
that's so cool. You know what? I really love it when people do like nice little things for their fan base, and the fact that you have a huge fan base. Like, I mean, your work is amazing.
I really need to say thank you to the Rocaforts, all the fans, people who know me in convention, and really know me in person, and always support my work. That they are amazing.
Yes.
Like I always say, they are my fuel to still working.
Yay! Oh, I love it. Random question. Do you have any cons that you're going to in the near future?
Yes, I'm going to okay, I'm going to announce soon. But
Okay.
I have one in April,
Okay.
another in June. Yeah, it's more.
None
in
in October.
No,
We're going to New York Comic Con for the first time, and I was
Yeah?
really hoping.
I will need to talk about it. No. October.
Okay. I love this. Rick Saylor says, "If I back 5 times, can we say I'm number 1?" I don't think that's how it works, Rick. I'm sorry. And
I don't think you get to subtract.
Robert says, "Kenneth, I need a Rocafort t-shirt." And I'm just gonna say, I would be happy to help design a t-shirt for you, Kenneth.
Oh, put all the gorgeous ladies on it.
Yes, absolutely would. You know what? I'm gonna play around with it, and I'm gonna send you some mock-ups, and then you can tell me that they're terrible.
Here are 17 shirt designs.
I know, right?
I don't want to feel pressure to decide.
She does this for fun.
Yeah, I know.
I do.
Awesome.
Kenneth, I sent you a DM.
Okay, I need to check that.
We're not allowed to not live before you answer the DM because it has to do with.
And Eric, I know you New York. Wow, why was that so hard to say? But it's our first time going to New York Comic Con, so
it's our first time going to any con together.
That is true, and I'm super stoked because we're doing cosplays while we're there too, so it's going to be really, really fun.
And I haven't done a cosplay in longer than most of the chat's been alive, so I'm old as fuck. Oh.
Hello, Sumo Thori, were your ears burning? We were totally talking about you, sir.
Yeah.
Sai, do you have any other questions?
No, I'm just waiting.
You're just waiting for Kenneth to respond?
Yes.
No problem.
You have the man on the show and you're like, I DM'd you something. Like, you're literally talking to him right now.
Yeah.
Well, okay. How do you ask, can I say something about this thing without saying something about this thing? You have to do it in a chat.
Yeah, the correct way, yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
Or say in public or whatever.
It just makes me giggle.
Hey, Kenneth, there's a secret. Can I tell the secret with the secret? No, Kenneth was just awesome, and he sent us something. We don't have it yet. It gets to Shae on Tuesday, so we will see. And we appreciate, even if it's like belly button lint, we appreciate it.
It's something simple. It's drawing a headshot, something. Yeah.
A drawing of belly button lint. There we go.
Drawing belly button.
But is it sexy belly button lint?
I don't know if it's sexy, but
so yeah.
Is it saturated?
Oh my gosh. Kenneth, is there anything else?
I always say it's mutual appreciation when you work with people who love art. And yeah, it's part of the community, like be together always.
Rick, I wholeheartedly agree. If you haven't backed Groken, then you definitely need to.
Oh my god, I think Sumo just gave up his secret. So if you donate $1 to this campaign, you get backer one without having backed it.
That's true.
You better not have.
And then you don't have to worry about scrolling to find a tier.
Well, he didn't do that.
Sumo. Anyway. All right, Kenneth, do you have anything else that you want to let people know about the campaign before we wrap?
Can you tell me again? It was so super quick. I didn't understand.
I'm sorry. I said, is there anything else that you would like to let everyone know about your campaign before we wrap up?
Well, it's sci-fi fantasy. It's not supernatural. I know some kids don't like supernatural stuff. It's nothing involved in that way in the story. It's more fantasy and sci-fi. Imagine any world. You are welcome to be part of the Groken world and to go with him in his journey. That's all.
That is awesome. So I want to thank everybody in the chat. You guys are phenomenal as always. Please share out the campaign. Back it if you haven't already. Definitely share out this stream. This was such a fun conversation. We love having Kenneth on.
I love you guys too.
you know you're always welcome on Red Valkyrie.
And the chat, thank you, and every support.
And Sai, thank you so much for all of your work getting everything set up so we could have such a smooth stream.
It is always a pleasure.
We are going to play y'all out with the Groken trailer. So have a fantastic rest of your Sunday and make sure that you stay tuned for this. Saturday. It is Saturday.
Jesus.
Oh my gosh.